So we now have our basic piece down. So we're going to start building this in OnShape. So I'm going to start a sketch on the top plane. So I'm looking down on this. And while your instinct might be a center point square, I actually want a 2-point rectangle. And your default would be to take and looking at our piece and pulling the measurements that we measured here. So that'd be 0.63 by 1.542. So our instinct says we should just put our measurements in that way. But that would actually lose one of the facts that Legos are all based on a repeating pattern. So let's say this is really 4 Lego units by 2 Lego units. And if I build everything on Lego units, I can use those magic numbers to build more and more pieces based on those ratios. So I'm going to start off by creating a new constant called a Lego unit. So we're going to finish the sketch. We're going to go to the X variable, and we're going to create a variable called Lego unit. I'm going to call it LU short. And that value is going to be, we're going to take our largest measurement and divide by the number of pips. So 1.254 slash 4 will give me a Lego unit. And I'm going to edit that. So I somehow take LI. So there is a single Lego unit. Now, I can get a more accurate Lego unit by measuring a larger Lego piece and then dividing down. That's probably a safer way to do it. I didn't want to grab a big Lego piece because it makes it hard to see what I'm doing with the camera. But I would suggest that you all take and create your own Lego unit based on your measurements. I could have an error in my measurement, so I wouldn't trust me. So now I'm going to move this dimension to have to be for the sketch. Now I'm going to jump into my sketch, and I'm going to change this to 2 times LU. This is going to be 4 times LU. Now, this went up by 0.3 thousand inch. We noticed that when I looked at my pieces, but that's really fine. Now, the height is going to be a fixed thing. We could create a new variable for Lego height, so maybe I'll do that right now. So I'm going to go variable. I'm going to call an LH. And I'm going to get 0.378. And if you make a thin piece, that's going to be 1/3 of that number. And I like to have all my variables so they happen before my sketches. So I always move those up so I have access to them in all my sketches. So now I'm going to take and extrude. And my height is going to be LH. Of course, I tell it who to extrude. And using a gut check, that looks like that looks similar in dimension to my piece. So now let's take and add in a pip. Again, I could build more variables, but I'm going to just manually dimension these because I don't have to use it once here. I'll just make sure I keep track of that. So diameter is going to be 0.191. Now, I could measure its location, but if I look at how my Legos are placed, my pips are placed, the center of this pip has to be half a Lego unit away from this wall and half a Lego unit away from this wall. If that's the case, that will lock this guy in place. So we're going to go back over to our OnShape, and I'm going to dimension from here to here. LU/2. I had to type in # just to make sure it knew it was variable. That's fine. So pound LU/2. And now I'm going to extrude that 1 pip. And he's going to go up 0.074. And I want to make sure that's adding to it. Good. Now, I could draw my circles here, but actually I'm going to use a pattern. So we're going to go to our patterns, and we're going to switch it from a part pattern to a feature pattern, and we're going to feature extrusion 2. And the first direction is going to go this way, and we need 4 of them, and the distance between them is LU. Try LU. Yep. It's either LU or half LU. I couldn't remember. Depends on how they divide it, but exactly 1 LU apart. And I'm going to pick second direction. We're going to select this direction, and we have 2 of them, and they're going to be LU apart. All right. I now have a fairly good Lego piece. Next step is we need to remove a bunch of material. So the easiest way to do this is with a but we'll do that in the next video.